So I already made a rant video about Byler. By the way, ignore my eye. I poked it out while doing my makeup. I don't want to hear it. Also, my voice from screaming out of anger. Oh, it's 11:11. 1 second. Okay. Sorry. I'm kind of a mess, but I do have notes, and I want to go over everything that I've collected and every piece of evidence I've collected that the Duffers' writing either sucks or they just don't care anymore. Number one, all the ships ended. All of them. Rovicki, Byler, Malevin. The only one that got was Lumax and Jopper. And even then, it was very little. Oh, my eye looks so bad. I'm so sorry to subject you to my terrible looking eye. I'm so sorry. Why did we get none of the couples? I think it's because Ross got divorced and he got mad that he was divorced and every other couple in his show were happy, and so he was just like, I don't really know. The fact that we got more Stonathan than we did Byler in the finale is kind of crazy, and the little bit of Byler, like platonic Byler that we got, was begged by Noah Schnapp. All right, interesting. All right, I'm gonna break off the Byler train. I'm gonna go over all the plot holes. I'm gonna go over the upset with Jancy, the way they wrote it, and what they did wrong, and then I'm gonna go over the queer stuff and the Byler stuff, because that deserves its own category of fucked up. Let's start with the plot holes. First off, pregnant women. They just blew them up. What happened to them? I don't understand. Why did they just blow up? Like, why was it never mentioned? Knowing that there were a bunch of pregnant women in a lap, I don't think they would have blown it up. I just don't get it. Why was it never mentioned? Why was it never brought up after it happened the first time? On top of that, why it's just misogynistic to kill all the pregnant women and just not care. Like, they would never brought up again. All right, interesting. Why blood? Why does the blood change things? Why did that work? How did Henry get it in his blood? And we have this stone, but it just doesn't make much sense. Same kind of topic. What happened to the military? They didn't arrest Hopper or for harboring and killing, harboring a criminal, killing a bunch of soldiers multiple times, and sneaking in, breaking and entering. What about oh my god, what is her name? Nancy. Sorry, Nancy. She killed a bunch of soldiers. What about Mike? He fought against a soldier. What about all of them? How did they get off scot-free? And then Hopper got his position back even though he was supposedly dead? I don't know. That felt weird. Same kind of thing. The Russians, what happened to the Russians? We never got an idea of what happened after the Russian base was infiltrated. Are the Russians trying to open the Upside Down? Did they give up? Are they too scared to? What happened there? Why were they just completely dropped as a plot line? I don't understand. It was never closed. I'm gonna do in relatively order, and I have a lot of notes, so it's kind of hard. Let's go into the fact that why did Dr. Brenner start the Project Rainbow? Why did he start Project Rainbow? Callie, we never got any. Sorry, is it Callie? Callie, we never got any information about. We never got understood how she escaped, why she got different powers than 11. What is she? Why? When did she escape? Was she a baby when she was taken by Dr. Brenner? Because from what we know, the article says kid was taken from London. Why was she taken as a kid instead of 11 when she was taken as an adult or a baby? Sorry. What connection did oh my god, what's her name? Callie have to Henry? Did Henry help her escape? I don't understand. Why did we get no closure on that? We only got her dying, which was terrible. I honestly, everyone's saying oh, Callie should die. I hate Callie. Go ahead, kill one of 3 people of color. All right. To what? Bring up the white people? Okay, interesting. I don't know. I really liked Callie. I thought she was really cool, interesting aspect to the story. I didn't really like episode 7 because I felt like it was really slow, but it was a good way of representing 11 and also representing there's other people who were in the lab, and we would have gotten so much more lab background if we just kept her. Why did we just kill her off immediately? We didn't get any information about her. Let's talk about Will, because he had the most plot holes, I think. Why did they take Will? Why on November 16th? What is the significance of November 16th? Why did they forget his birthday gay? That was hinted at and played with multiple times on the Stranger Things Twitter, just for them to do nothing with it. Or maybe it was Instagram. I don't know. I don't have socials. Milkshake Gate, or the fact that in his coming out, which was, by the way, a really badly written coming out, and I'm sorry, no, I should not be able to perform that, because that was terrible. Watching that made me physically want to irk, which is terrible, because if they'd done that good, it would have been insane, but instead they fucked it up to the point where it made queer people literally have anxiety attacks, because it was that bad. And he was forced to come out by his abuser. Yep, that's great job, Duffers. Sorry, I keep looking down because my notes are here. But like, Milkshake, if he's coming out and he's talking about malted milkshakes at Melvald's. Melvald's is a general store. It was a diner in the 50s when Henry was alive. That was never addressed. Getting lost in the woods. Why would he want to get lost in the woods? That's where he was violently taken for an entire week when he was 12 years old. By the way, he's 12, not 11, so fuck you, Duffers. Because apparently they forget their own characters' ages. Trying to, like, sniffle and snuffle and be gross. I think he was 12. I think that was what I read. I don't know. Oh, we know that Will was feeling everything 5 minutes ago when he was experiencing Henry's, like, memory, and he was feeling it in his hand, but then when Vecna dies, the hive mind, he doesn't die too? He didn't feel anything? He was just like... So it seems that the connection to the hive mind is only important when it's serving the plot. The color change of the dial in the tower, that was never addressed. On top of that, I'm going back to Brenner and like this stuff. Why is the Upside Down stuck in November 6th? What is the exotic matter and why does it melt the things around it? And on top of that, how was Brenner's journal in there? There's no way he was researching it the day that Will was taken. He would have had to have all that research the day that Will was taken. And we know that 11 escaped most likely the same day that Will was taken, or maybe the day before. But there's no way he had all that research and knew exactly what it was before Will was taken. Barb was never mentioned in the season at all. Bob was, not Barb. We still don't know anything about Mike trying to end his own life in season 1. The ending your own life pact, that was never discussed besides Hopper going, don't do this, you're gonna have a kid someday. She never mentioned it to Mike. Oh, this is the biggest one. She's in this with all of these, like, things blaring at her. How is she able to go into the void? She's not. I don't know if maybe we were just crazy, but she's not able to. It's impossible. Henry died too quickly. Again, how did Will not die from that? How did Joyce and Hopper not recognize Henry / Vecna at all? That would have been such a cool thing where they're like, we don't want to kill him, we know him. This is just bad writing, but Will trying to forgive his abuser. Don't play Duffers. Patty. Why the door showed up in the thing? Was that Holly? Was that just meant to happen? Like, why was it so apparent after... Oh my god, my nose. 1 second. How did the door just appear? Even though Max said that it was strange, and we also knew it was strange. Speaking of doors, when Will was taken, the doors open, and we have been confirmed that Demo Gorgons, oh my god, I can't speak. The demos, they can't open doors telepathically. What opened that freaking door? We still don't know. And the Duffer said it was going to be confirmed. And we were going to know. We still don't know. Everything that has to do with the, oh my god. Pardon my French. I don't remember what I was about to say. Everything has to do with the cave. Why did the scientists have that? What is it? Why did it give him the mind flayer particles or make him want to go to the mind flayer? How did he get there besides 11 bringing him there? Why does he have powers before that, enough to kill his parents? It just, something about it just doesn't click in my mind what the timeline is and what happened with Henry slash Vecna slash 1 and who he was and what he was. Like, I'm confused. Was the Mind Flayer what gave everyone their powers? I don't understand it. I never will. If I were to write it, it'd be a lot different. There are way too many plot holes. I'm not even done. How did Mike know how to build a bomb? When did he learn how to build a bomb? How did he learn how to build a bomb? What? Where did he get the materials to build a bomb? Mike being the worst throughout all the seasons. Now that we know that Byler's not canon, even though I still think it might be hinted at very obviously, why was he the worst to Will all these times? It's like getting into like queer stuff. In the 80s, the AIDS was a big thing with queer people, especially gay men, and people didn't want to touch them and treat them like they were scared of them. So making Mike do that is just, as Duffer's self-insert, is just okay. 11. When did they get back together? When did they like decide that they were okay with each other? And why did Mike still not say I love you even though she was dying? I don't know. That was just a really plot hole thing of like them trying to like push it, even though they decided that they weren't gonna do Jancy or Stancy or any of that. And to all the Stances out there that are also 11s and they were in people's in people's Tumblr inboxes, Byler's Tumblr inboxes saying, "Oh look, it's not canon. I told you. Why would they build it all up? Why did they build up Jancy for what, 4 seasons just to kill it?" Yeah, all right. Patty was never mentioned ever, even though it was said that we were going to be like the First Shadow parallels and we are going to know more about the First Shadow. We learned nothing about the First Shadow. In fact, it contradicted the First Shadow. I haven't watched the play, but from what other people have said, I know that it's contradicted it a lot, so I don't really understand that. Why did the dust just easily leave the kids despite there not being any kind of heat or like intensity? And how did they just immediately leave the mindscape? It makes no sense, because Max couldn't leave the mindscape. Holly couldn't leave the mindscape. They would have had to have escaped, and we have no confirmation if they escaped or not. On top of that, the dust easily left them. For Will, I don't know if you remember, they had to put a bunch of heaters around him and do it. The Mind Flayer wasn't dead. The dust was still alive. What happened to the dust? Why was it so easy for them to get rid of it when it wasn't that easy when it was Will? I don't know. Max not being blind. We saw her crying blood with blind eyes, and then she wasn't blind. Like, what? Or none of her bones? Like, obviously her muscles still hurt, and she was, like, bad. And I get it, bones obviously can't break, but you can't reverse being blind. Especially not in the 80s. Gun suddenly affecting the Mind Flayer. It didn't in the first season. Didn't in the second season. Why did Gun suddenly affect these things? Mike and Will never talked about Will's feelings. Never. So I think now I've gotten through most of the plot holes that I wrote down. I know there are probably more that I missed. I'm sorry if I missed the plot hole that's your favorite plot hole. But I don't actually think I have any more in my notes. Oh, no, I do. Susie and Dr. Owens. What happened to them? Argyle. What happened to him? Anyway, now let's get to the plot, to the queer stuff. Because I do think that with everything I've gone through, it's time to finally talk about it. I feel like we all put too much hope in the Duffers. They were straight white men, and we put too much hope in them. For all the queer people out there who saw themselves in Mike and put so much hope into Mike and Will's relationship, do better than the Duffers. Write a story and make it better than the Duffers, because they fucking cowered it out or something. I don't know if they wanted to leave the ending ambiguous, if they wanted to make it a bittersweet or sad ending, so that's why they did it, but it's clear that they didn't end it right. And they didn't write the finale right. I mean, it was so easy to kill Vecna. the people who are believing in conformity gate, that I get. And I think maybe conformity gate is real and we're just crazy, and that maybe the ending was supposed to be interpreted differently by everyone. And my interpretation is either one of three things. The Duffers never planned to do Byler, and they just wanted to queerbait us for the money. Very valid and possible. They chickened out last minute, or Netflix said no last minute, or they just ended up not wanting to do it last minute. Because, I mean, it was really clearly gone up to. Or it was meant to be an ending where they were all stuck in Vecna's mind and Vecna won, and that they were never going to get out, because obviously so many things were wrong with the finale, so many things were off, and it felt like different writers. Everyone mentioned that. And had they done what we thought they were going to do and done all these cool things, it would have been a more interesting series. It felt so bland the last season, and it felt a lot like a Marvel movie, because they easily won after losing so bad in season 4. Like, I just don't get it. They lost so bad in season 4. They failed. On top of that, if the Demogorgons were able to always open portals like that, why did Vecna need to kill or create the portals himself? Why? Like, why did he need to split the Earth in 4? Why are the Hawken citizens worried about the fact that the Earth was split in 4? I don't know. A lot of it just seems confusing, especially the fact that, like, at the ending, when everyone's like, oh, Hellfire's fine, suddenly they don't think it's a satanic cult. I don't know, that was really weird. It all just felt, like, off. And, like, I'm not saying that as a form of Byler, but now I am going to talk about Byler. They led up to that for 10 fucking years. And people who call me delusional, you can call me delusional all you want, okay? But look at the evidence. There is more evidence for Byler than there is from 11. And 11s are going to say, oh, but it's canon. Not everything that's canon is always what they intend to be canon. And the thing is, when you watch it, and you really watch it, instead of scrolling on your phone or whatever you people do, you can see the obvious hints. And it was like everything they possibly could do. And any cinematographer or people who study cinematography, they'll tell you, Byler looks like it's supposed to be canon. It looks like it is. And it was. Not necessarily. It was meant to be a queerbait, is my guess. Maybe it was meant to be canon and they just chickened out. I don't really know. Some people think it might have to do with Ross's ex-wife. I don't know. What I do know is they failed. Queer kids all over the world put hope into this. They put hope into this because it would be the first time that a show with 10 million viewers, 10 million viewers, I want you to really get that into your head, 10 million people watched it. And it wasn't about being queer. So having one of the main couples be queer would have revolutionized TV shows. It would have made it so much easier to be queer and to be out and queer in small towns. I mean, I live in a small town. Okay, I live in a small conservative town. I always have. I always will. I tell you, I've faced the homophobia firsthand. Internalized and other people straight up saying it. There will never be another chance like they did. They had such a huge chance to change the world, and they said, fuck you, and walked away. They wanted the money. Don't ever support them. If you are a queer person and you watched it and you were disappointed about Byler, or if you weren't a queer person and you just watched and were disappointed about Byler and you were disappointed about all the plot holes, don't ever watch another one of their projects or go to any of their other things or watch any of their things, but don't hate on the actors because they have no say. And Noah fought the best he could. I'm not sure what happened with Noah politically because I'm not really on the side of like what's going on in Gaza or Israel, and nor do I really care. No offense. I don't want to be that person that's like, I don't care over it. I just don't understand it, nor do I have a say in it because I don't have a say in it. Like, I don't have, like, a real big say, because I don't really understand what's going on, and I'm only a kid, so I can't really make much of a change, so I don't really care. More of just, like, now I feel like I'm saying, like, things that make me sound bad. I just don't know what's going on. I don't have any, like, knowledge of it, and I don't trust the internet to give me knowledge or people in the real world, because no one ever tells the truth. They just tell what they want to be the truth. You know what I mean? So I don't really know much about what happened there, but I will say he did fight for the scene that we got with the platonic Byler, which I feel so bad for him because they said fuck you in the biggest way possible. Like, no wonder he doesn't want to play any more queer characters. They made his character about being queer, made him do that awful coming out scene, didn't listen to him when they said when he said, like, oh, the coming out scene isn't good, threatened to write him off the show, told him to shut up multiple times in interviews. Sean Levy said, oh, you know how he'll put his microphone down? You do that too. And it's just, like, disgusting. And then they gave him the painting as a final fucked up goodbye. I don't know. We all knew he was a Byler, so I don't really know why they would do that, because it's just, like, they were being awfully homophobic. On top of that, like, Ro Vicky not lasting was kind of gross that they just did that, because it was clear that, like, maybe the actor Vicky walked away because she couldn't take the homophobia. I don't know, but it was really gross to watch, because they make it a joke. They make it a joke when they don't realize that it was never about the characters. It was about what the change that it would inspire. Because so many queer kids over the world would have seen it and been like, oh my god, I am finally represented. And we didn't get that. We got a shitty coming out scene and a dumb possible epilogue boyfriend or hookup. We don't even know. And the fact that Will was dumbed down to just his sexuality is disgusting. It's disgusting. They didn't listen to Noah at all, and it's clear, because who would know the character better than the actor? Nobody. Faye did not carry a huge emotional weight. And, wow, my lipstick's really uneven. Sorry about that. And the fact that, you know what? I was sitting there watching Volume 2, okay? In my basement, which is where I am right now, because I spend most of my time in my basement, because it's just, like, a colder place, and I like cold. And I was watching it. And Volume 1 had made me feel so empowered, by the way, just so you know. Watching that was like finally coming to terms with who I was. I mean, watching the little video and watching people all over the world create the videos, it was so beautiful. And then watching Volume 2 was like a slap in the fucking face. Will was forced to come out to everyone in the room by his abuser. His coming out scene wasn't even correct for him, and it was rushed, and it was forced, and it was just... You don't have to come out to other people to accept yourself. And the fact that it was the 80s and he came out to all those people is just, it's so odd. And the way it was written was just disgusting. Coming out should have been personal at first. And the fact that the first person who knew was Jonathan, and Jonathan didn't even get a separate, like, talk, and Joyce didn't, and Mike never got to know about Will's feelings. It's just one of those things where, like, queer characters are sidelined because they're queer. He forgave his abuser in the end. And as someone who suffered from that, it's like a punch in the fucking face. It really is. It's not about who the characters were. It's about the fact that a main couple being queer, it would have revolutionized TV forever. It would have inspired change. I have to pull my nose again. 1 second. The fact that it ended up being a huge queer bait, even though so many queer people put their experiences out there and were like, my experience is similar to Mike, my experience is similar to Will, my experience is similar to Robin. But instead they dumbed it down to the same experiences and then made Will's epilogue be about going to a gay bar with a guy who doesn't even speak, and it's all Mike's Delulu, so we don't even know if it's canon. Fuck you, Duffers. And fuck Sean Levy, too. I feel like Noah was giving us hints this entire time, with things like, oh, I think you guys are better than the Duffers at writing and all this stuff. And I feel like we shouldn't have put so much hope in them, because in the end, straight white men will always fail us. They didn't write women right. I mean, Eleven had no hobbies outside of having powers, or being with Mike, or being with Hopper. They don't write queer people, right? I mean, Will's experience being almost identical to Robin's, and then him being in a gay bar instead of, I don't know, exploring his painting. You know what would have been great? If he was painting and then his epilogue boyfriend, if it even had to exist, he came up to him and like kissed him behind. That would have been so much better than the weird gay bar. Which, by the way, Fannin Will and Cannon Will would never drink. He saw what it did to his mom. He saw what it did to Lonnie. Why would he do that? Also, Lonnie's was never explored as an actual abuser, even though we know that he did. I don't know. It was just, the ending was unsatisfying. And it was unsatisfying because the heart was living alone. Because Mike was never explored as a character. He was just dumbed down and wasn't. R.I.P. Fannin Mike, because he, with the internalized homophobia and everything like that, would have been the most beautiful character written. And they said, fuck you, and threw it down the drain because it's their self-insert. Just so you know, Duffers, the fact that Mike is the less weird out of all of them, and he is your self-insert, okay, interesting. On top of that, we could have had such a cool, like, dungeon master aspect where, like, he's predicting everything and we just didn't even realize it, but we didn't get that. Because the Duffer said, fuck you, and made him the worst written character, probably in history, actually, of TV shows. He's homophobic, and he's hateful, and ends up living alone even though he's supposed to be the heart. I don't know. And they were too much of pussies to kill anybody off and create danger. I just don't know. For someone who canonly makes a character say, I don't believe in coincidence anymore, you sure have a lot of coincidence in your show. And 11's ending, ending your own life to end the cycle of abuse is such bullshit. Oh yeah, but she's alive. She's alive. No, she's not. That is Mike's Delulu. There is no possible way she's alive. Mike is in Delulu land because he can't admit that he's gay. Like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. It felt off. I'm not going to make this video run on anymore. What I am going to say to all those people out there, straight, gay, not queer, Byler, Malevolent, write. Pick a pencil and write. Write a better ending for Stranger Things. Write a new story. One like Stranger Things, but for once, the writing is good. Write to make a story better than the Duffers. And to all the queer kids out there and all the Byler shippers who were so excited because finally, out of all media, a media that wasn't about queer would have queer main character, do it yourself. Say, fuck the Duffers and do it yourself. Because if we all band together and we all start creating so much media that's about being queer, but there's queer characters, queer main couple, be the change you want to see. Because if we can't win with Stranger Things, we can win by pushing it ourselves. Please. There's one thing. And I know you can do it. And I know you may be saying, I've never written my life. So what? So what? This new year needs to be a year full of girls. Sorry, that was cringy. I'm sorry. It needs to be a year full of us fighting back. Not by protesting, not by painting yourself blue and yellow or yelling about it. By writing, by creating, by drawing, by whatever, and creating queer stories that aren't about being queer. It could be a story about everyone dying, where everyone dies, but there's a queer character, and they are the main character, and they are the main couple. Make a story about a fantasy world. I don't care. But if the Duffers wouldn't give us what we wanted, we will do it ourselves. I love y'all. Stay safe. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. I'm not sure I'm going to be posting any more of these after this. I might. I can't promise I won't. But I also can't promise I will because Stranger Things is over. So if this is goodbye forever, this is goodbye forever. If it's not, it's not. I'll continue to post shorts probably of like artwork and stuff that I've been doing for a while. But commentary, I'm not so sure will ever happen again. So I don't know if this channel will stay as a commentary channel and I will continue to do my short stuff on the side. I don't know. I'll update you, I guess, maybe. If this is goodbye forever, goodbye. And it was lovely to have all the support I got while I got it.